It's enough. The WNBA must eventually take a serious look at the situation, particularly with regard to player safety and respect on the field. There is more to the recent Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game than just a nasty basketball battle. It went too far and turned into something far more serious. Players like Caitlin Clark are being targeted in unfair and hazardous ways, and the league needs to take this seriously. After being shoved to the ground and given an eye poke, Caitlin Clark destroyed her bullies. Two Connecticut Sun players, Marina Maberry and Sheldon, were involved in situations during that game that infuriated spectators, fans, and pundits. They weren't only playing tough defense or making physical plays. They appeared to be deliberate fouls and possibly assaults. After storming across the court and body-checking Caitlin Clark during a dead ball, Marina Maberry in particular garnered headlines. This indicates that the game had already ended. What she did had nothing to do with basketball. It wasn't a botched play. It appeared to be an act intended to convey a message. Furthermore, such message had nothing to do with improving basketball skills. Another Connecticut Sun player, Sheldon, had a difficult game as well. Throughout, she was all on Caitlin Clark, hacking, tugging at her, and defending herself excessively. However, it didn't end there. She once seemed to scratch Clark's eye while clawing at his face. It didn't appear to be a play for possession and wasn't close to the ball. It was obvious to viewers of the program that it was excessive and intentional. Remarkably, the referees dismissed it as a common infraction. This type of officiating raises the question of why Caitlin Clark is subject to separate rules. Why are these kinds of behaviors permitted without grave repercussions? It's giving the wrong impression not only to players but also to spectators and young athletes. The game might have gotten out of control after those hits. Caitlin Clark had the option to retaliate. Sophie Cunningham had the option to pursue the culpable players. However, it was not the case. Instead, we witnessed a masterclass in maturity and professionalism. Despite being obviously fouled and possibly even physically injured, Caitlin Clark chose not to take revenge. She refrained from engaging in a verbal altercation or attempting to get retribution through her own unethical behavior. Rather, she stood up, cleaned herself, and performed even better. Every assist and shot she made seemed to be her way of declaring, "You can't break me." She let her abilities speak for themselves. Sophie Cunningham was instrumental in maintaining order. She took up the role of the team's emotional leader as a veteran. She prevented the situation from getting out of control. She supported Clark and kept the team's attention on the game rather than the turmoil. In the midst of a tumultuous situation, her presence kept the team cohesive. And for a young squad like the Fever, that kind of leadership is crucial. The two teams' approaches to this situation differed greatly. The Connecticut Sun decided to use physical force since they were frustrated and couldn't stop Clark with ordinary play. They attempted to frighten her and cause her bodily and mental distress. However, the Indiana Fever demonstrated a completely different strategy. They demonstrated that they could win without going overboard by remaining composed and playing cunning. It was evident how different their personalities were. This wasn't your typical season game. It was obvious that the Connecticut Sun had been pursuing Clark for some time. The attention she receives did not sit well with them. Since she joined the league, there has been a lot of noise around her, which they didn't enjoy. This game, therefore, seemed to be their opportunity to degrade her. Rather, they merely strengthened her. Caitlin Clark's reaction was typical of seasoned veterans rather than players in their second season. She was unaffected by the physical play or the pressure. If anything, it motivated her to improve even more. Many were reminded of how Michael Jordan used to handle situations, rising to the occasion when others attempted to undermine him and getting better when things got tough. Clark displayed the same intensity and passion. Sophie Cunningham is equally deserving of recognition. In this instance, her leadership was not about screaming or retaliating. It was about maintaining composure, ensuring that the team did not lose their cool, and directing the team's energy into winning the game. Every team requires that kind of maturity, particularly when feelings are running high. She demonstrated that defending your colleagues doesn't always entail using force. Maintaining the team's attention and groundedness is sometimes necessary. The audience saw it. The game spectators witnessed what was going on and who handled it appropriately. After witnessing their squad follow the highway, Fever supporters became even more devoted to their team. The way that Clark and Cunningham handled the matter was widely praised on social media. Even those who weren't Indiana supporters offered credit where credit was deserved. They witnessed one squad behave with dignity, while another team descended into cheap tactics and desperation. The WNBA as a whole received a message from what transpired in this game. Teams that believe they can use dirty tactics to intimidate Caitlin Clark or disrupt her game are now aware of this. That approach is not going to be successful. If anything, it gives her more motivation. She puts in more effort when playing. She is a better player. She also demonstrates why she is among the league's top players. It also demonstrated the importance of veteran leadership. Sophie Cunningham prevented the situation from getting out of control. Without that kind of direction, a younger squad could have reacted differently, but Cunningham's presence gave the Fever the maturity they required to handle things appropriately. That's how you create a winning team, not just with skill, but also with character and leadership. In the future, this game could be seen as a pivotal moment for Indiana. It was more than just a scoreboard victory. In terms of identification, it was a victory. They demonstrated who they are and how they deal with hardship. Moments like that foster respect throughout the league and increase trust within a squad. What it says about character is what makes this even more significant. Sheldon and Marina Maybrid didn't step up their game when they became irritated. They became less demanding. Rather than using skill, they employed violence and intimidation. Conversely, Cunningham and Clark accepted the task. They refused to let the situation depress them. They utilized it to demonstrate the qualities of champions. After the fouls, Caitlin Clark's performance went beyond simple skill. It was a declaration. She refrained from speaking negatively or taking revenge. She simply continued to play and demonstrated her ability to rise above the absurdity. The Suns' strategies appeared weaker and more desperate with each shot she made following those fouls. Sophie Cunningham's devotion and leadership were equally impressive. She exemplified what it means to be a real teammate, someone who supports you while keeping the objective in mind. Long-term success is facilitated by their unity and that of the team. Ultimately, neither the filthy hits nor the poor officiating were remembered by the audience. They recalled Indiana's reaction. They recalled Cunningham's leadership and Clark's poise. They recalled a team that won without resorting to dirty tactics. They simply had better basketball skills. This is the lesson to be learned. Character and skill will always triumph over frustration and cheap shots. Despite their best efforts, the Connecticut Sun was only able to expose itself. The Fever, led by Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark, demonstrated what true champions look like. Because of this moment will not just pass. It will go down in history as the day the Indiana Fever proved they are more than simply a promising club. They are a team that has passion, leadership, and the perseverance to see things through to the end. To ensure you don't miss any of our upcoming breakdowns and reactions, please make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell if you thought they handled things with poise and assurance. I'd like to hear from you now. Do you believe that the WNBA should take action to better safeguard its players? Was the course of action taken by Clark and Cunningham the best one? Let's discuss it in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and keep in mind that while talent wins games, character creates legacies. I'll see you in the next one.